Welcome back to another episode on the MOD page. It's been a while since I've spoken on here. It is now the playoff time, so I'm going to be doing this series where we're going to talk about the X's and O's in every single playoff matchup. If you guys would like to hear more from me, shout out to Up the Score Show. We do weekly podcasts on her. We're going to be going up for the playoffs, and we're going to start this off with the most anticipated series of the first round, possibly. We got the Dallas Mavericks versus the Los Angeles Clippers. This rivalry has been so much fun, and I'm pretty sure all of us were so happy last week when this got locked in. I'm pretty sure all of us were so happy because I know I was. Because one of these teams is going to be one of the best teams in the Western Conference and not make it out the first round. One of these teams is going to have possibly the most disappointing year of the season. And it's like they have to, because one of them are going to lose in the first round. But hey man, we're going to see who it is. It's playoff time, baby. First thing first, most important person of this series, Kawhi Leonard. How healthy are you? Because he has right knee inflammation. And one thing I know about Kawhi Leonard is if he's not 100%, he's not playing. Kawhi is not one of those guys who's going to battle it out through injuries. He has 2 rings already. I think his health is more important than winning basketball games for him, which is very respectable, by the way. Like, I salute you for that. You already got your rings. But playing through injuries, it just sets you up for failure. Not even for basketball, but for life, which is cool. But him not playing for the Los Angeles Clippers, man, I mean, you could just write the Clippers at 5. If Kawhi Leonard is out game 1 of the series, I think y'all, anyone listening to this, don't take my advice, but I personally, if Kawhi's out game 1, take the Mavericks money line for like the series, because if Kawhi's out game 1, he's done. He's cooked. We all know Kawhi Leonard. When he's hurt, he doesn't say anything. It's his right knee, which has been giving him issues at the later in his career. Lou said that he hopes Kawhi's ready for game 1. But at the same time, like, check me out. It could be a chess move by Tyronn Lue, because why would you 2 weeks ahead of the matchup be like, oh yeah, other coach, here's the confirmation that my player will be there? No. Act like you're confused. Tyronn Lue is doing what he should do. One of the only times he does what he should do, by the way. But Tyronn Lue, he might be playing chess. He might just be messing with our heads saying, I don't know if Kawhi's playing, but I feel like right now at this point, Tyronn Lue has an answer, but the Clippers is not going to release it because it's just going to make the Mavericks have to think more. You're going to have to game plan if Kawhi's there. You're going to have to game plan if Kawhi's not there. It is a weird place for the Mavericks to stand, but if I'm Jason Kidd, you just game plan for Kawhi there, and if he's not there, then hey, it's easier. It's easier to beat them because they don't have the first or second best player in this series, depending on your opinion. There is no other way you can rank these players. Luka and Kawhi, they are the first and second best player in this series. If you think otherwise, you're wrong. But yeah, Kawhi Leonard, he is a playoff riser. A playoff riser. I had to say it twice because he has been one of the best playoff performers I've ever seen in my personal lifetime. I'm pretty sure a lot of us could agree with that. Like, he's amazing in the playoffs. We talk about playoff Jimmy all the time. This man, Kawhi Leonard, is even better. He's better than a playoff Jimmy. And I'm a Miami Heat fan personally, and it's coming from the words of a Miami Heat fan. Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs, dude, he's a problem on defense. He's averaging 30. He's knocking out clutch shots. He's a silent killer, too. It's so fun to watch Kawhi in the playoffs. He locks up KD. Oh, my goodness. Those 2 games where Kawhi was playing last year against the Suns, I know Suns fans were scared. But Kawhi Leonard, he's the biggest X factor in this series at this moment because of his health. So let's see if he's there. If he's not there, Mavericks in 5, honestly. Now let's talk about Paul George, who he has accepted the role of being a second option. He's kind of done his whole career, if we're being honest. Since Paul George has left the Pacers, he's teamed up with Russell Westbrook. Right after that, yes, he got traded for Oladipo as the bonus. And then after that, he went and teamed up with Kawhi Leonard. Like, Paul George, he's one of those guys where like, yeah, I'm a second option, and I'm one of the best second options in the league, and I want me a ring, and I can respect that. Like I said, I can respect Kawhi being satisfied with his career if he doesn't play through injuries. I can respect the fact that Paul George is satisfied with being the second option. He is an amazing player. He is everything Kawhi is, but worse. You know, he is a two-way scorer, great on defense. He's not the greatest playmaker. Only difference between Kawhi and Paul George is one of them is like an absolute playoff riser. Paul George, he's actually pretty good in the playoffs. We got to stop this way off P thing. We got to stop that. Paul George is not that bad in the playoffs. Hopefully, my words don't age badly. But when Kawhi was hurt that 1 year, he like took him to the Western Conference Finals. I know it's a meme. The way off P thing, if you're listening to me, it's a meme. The same way Data Davis is a meme. Anthony Davis has played like 72 games this year. And I kid you not, every single game that he missed, which was less than 10 this year, all you see is Anthony Davis always hurt. Bro, he missed like 10 games. Leave the man alone. Leave the man alone. Paul George, if he has one bad game in the playoffs, you're going to see it all over Twitter, all over Instagram. It's a meme, man. Paul George is cool. Paul George is amazing player. The Clippers are capable of winning a championship with him as their second option. I mean, why couldn't they? The reason in the past years where I didn't believe the Clippers is because of this guy right here. It's not him specifically, but it's his skill set. The Clippers have been relying a lot on point forward play. The thing is, though, they don't have any point forward. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are two-way scorers. You feel me? Like, they needed somebody to set them up like this. This is exactly what they needed. James Harden, he's going to come in there and he's going to be able to set those two guys up to score. And I think the Clippers are so dangerous that as long as Kawhi is on the court, they could beat teams. But Kawhi is the biggest X factor. Like, let's say that Paul George has to miss a game because of a calf strain for like 2 games, right? You have Harden and Kawhi. I think that they could get by for like a game or 2. You know, maybe go 1-1 split. That's possible, but if you're relying on Paul George and James Harden, all right, that's when you're good. That's when you're good. With James Harden, he's gonna come in, set those two guys up, and those two guys also complement him because Harden on the defensive end, he isn't as good as them, and they're gonna be able to make up for that. Now let's get into my notes for this series. I made a lot of notes for these. Like I told you, we're going into the X's and O's. We talked about the no Kawhi thing already. We talked about the second and third options already. We talked about, we kind of talked about it, but I think James Harden could score 15 to 18 points in this series, and they could win. James Harden could score 15 to 18 points for the whole playoffs, and they can win a championship. Only thing that the Clippers need is luck, health, and good matchup. That's what every team needs. As long as they got those things, the Clippers are possible finals appearance. You know, the Clippers are a really good team, and the Harden and Zubac pick and roll has been the heart of their offense. This has allowed for Paul George and Kawhi Leonard to be off-ball players more. And when they are off-ball, that's when those two guys are the most dangerous, man. Because when they get that ball, all they have to do is get to their spot real quick after James Harden created an advantage for them and bomb, bomb. Paul George, he's an amazing dribbler. Don't get me wrong, but people kind of overrate his handles because of how good he is and how nice it looks when he gets to his spot. Kawhi, too. Like, Kawhi gets to his spot at the mid-range elbow. And it's nothing you could do about it, man. But, hey, those guys off the pick and roll, and then they can isolate more. It makes the offense more honest. It makes it not just give the ball to Paul George and Kawhi and let them cook. Because those guys aren't even the playmakers of it, James Harden. And another guy is Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook and James Harden should be playing at all times. There should be, in the 48 minutes within a playoff game, there should be less than 3 minutes where at least one of those guys are on the court if both of them are healthy. Rotate Harden and Westbrook the entirety of the game at point guard. Whenever Harden's going to get to the bench, it's because you put in Westbrook in. Same with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. Whenever Kawhi Leonard's coming out the game, it's because you're sliding Paul George to the small forward. Whenever Paul George is getting out of the game, it's because you're sliding Kawhi to the small forward. You know, those four guys, at least two of them should always be on the court. I will personally play Westbrook and Paul George together, and then play Harden and Kawhi together, kind of like how they've been doing this year. Westbrook and Paul George, they got that OKC Thunder connection. They've been playing with each other for years. They are amazing with each other. Paul George has his best individual season with Westbrook. I know it's not the same Westbrook, but it still matters. So let's say you have Harden in. Next to him, you put Harden, Norman Powell, Kawhi Leonard. You figure it out depending on whoever you're playing up against, but y'all understand what I'm saying. Another thing the Clippers need to do, they need to stay away from the small ball stuff. They do it too much where they're playing Kawhi Leonard at center. I know it works sometimes, but try to stay away from it, especially in a series where they're going to have Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford, who are two viable options at center. Especially, like, their center rotation isn't that bad. Clippers have enough to compete with the Mavericks just if they play their centers. Don't outthink yourself. Put in Paul George and Kawhi Leonard as your power forwards and centers. Just play your lineup how it is. Stay away from small ball. But the thing that all NBA teams should do, and I'm going to have this for every single team in the playoffs, spot minutes. You have Terrence Mann, Amir Coffey, Bones Highland, and Plumlee. What spot minutes are is, let's say there's a couple minutes within the game where you're either up or down a lot. You just need something. You know, you just need some spirit. Spirit may not be the word, but you just need a punch. Put one of those guys in, and hopefully they could crack your rotation somehow. Like, they inspire you enough to, like, hey, maybe we should play Terrence Mann some more minutes, because as the season has gone on, Terrence Mann's minutes have gone down, and rightfully so, honestly, because Norman Powell's been playing better than him, and I feel like, especially in this series, they should put Terrence Mann to the bench. I feel like PJ Tucker should start in this series. And the reason I say that is you want to eliminate the Luka Doncic touches as much as you can. And you also don't want Kawhi Leonard having the bang all game, especially the fact that he's coming off a right knee inflammation. I feel like PJ Tucker benefits Kawhi Leonard more than Terrence Mann benefits Kawhi Leonard. And the thing about building a team, you build it around your best player. You know, if you have James Harden, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, PJ Tucker, and Zubac, how you run this against the Mavericks is like you've been doing all year. You have Harden and Zubac pick and roll. You have PJ Tucker sitting in the corner because him and Harden have had chemistry since the Houston days. You feel me? So he's gonna always know where PJ Tucker is. They got moved to the Clippers together. I know PJ Tucker wasn't all in on it, but you know he's here now, so you know play a role, and I think PJ Tucker's cool with that. He would be happy. Hey, winning cures everything. So as long as PJ Tucker's sitting in the corner, playing defense on Luka sometimes whenever he's hunting for a mix match, hey, he's happy. Especially like when Luka plays, like I said, he hunts for a mix match. James Harden, he's pretty good at guarding in the post. Paul George is a great defender. Kawhi Leonard's a great defender. PJ Tucker, he plays with that tenacity, that toughness, that, you feel me? Where Luka Doncic, yeah, he's gonna win the matchup. He's gonna get beat up a little. I feel like PJ Tucker is gonna be very important in this series, and hopefully Tyronn Lue can realize that and possibly even start him like I would like him to. And he's Zubac, you know, he's a center, so ain't like Luka's just gonna beat up on him in the post. You got other people like Russell Westbrook, who honestly he's a pretty good post defender too. He's not the best. Hey, it's not like it's an absolute mixed match. Yeah, Luka's gonna call for Westbrook sometimes in the post. He's gonna win more than not, but it gives Luka a harder time. I know you're not gonna stop him, man. He's amazing, but giving him a hard time is amazing. Last thing for the Clippers, Norman Powell's a closer. I know that I have Paul George starting too, but you close this team with James Harden, Norman Powell, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, and Zubac. You have 5 shooters, good defense, and no liability on offense. If Pete is knocking down his shot, you can keep him in the closing lineup. But if he's not, you just put Norman Powell in. Norman Powell is a good enough defender. 6 Man of the Year candidate. Norman Powell has been absolutely amazing. So yeah, Clippers, dude. They also should play Daniel Theis with Westbrook a lot. I feel like Theis is a good enough shooter to where he provides at least that little bit of spacing for Westbrook. Westbrook should always be playing with shooters, Theis, Paul George, Norman, Westbrook, and then you just whoever else is playing well at that point, and whoever's the last person that gets the best against whatever lineup the Mavericks are running, because you got to match up against the lineup. Yeah, that's it for the Clippers. Now we on to the Mavericks. We 15 minutes in and we're finally talking about the other team, but this is how this series is gonna be. I'm gonna get a lot of opinions off of these teams. Some videos are gonna be quicker than the others. This is a highly anticipated series that I'm so excited for. And I'm gonna talk about every single player who I believe should be getting minutes in. First things first, the Don himself, Luka Doncic. I think this guy right here, man, he might be able to make a run this playoffs where he could solidify himself as possibly the best player in the world. He's really been that good. He's not going to win MVP with Dallas Mavericks fans. Unfortunately, I know it's unfortunate. Luka has been amazing this year. A lot of people going into the season, I highly disagree. Had the Dallas Mavericks out of the play-in was so crazy to me. All of those people are eating their word. And I'm starting to realize some Luka hate going on. Are y'all seeing that too? Where he's being disrespected for? I don't understand what he's done to be disrespected, but Luka's been getting disrespected a little bit. And like I said with Kawhi Leonard, this is one of the best playoff righteous I've seen in my life. Kawhi's been doing it for longer, but Luka has been doing it more recently. And Luka has been healthy enough to keep on doing it, and he's young enough to where, this man Luka, he could I don't even want to say what Luka could do. I've said enough. Luka's amazing. We all know about Luka. The guy who we really got to talk about as the X factor for the Dallas Mavericks is no other than Kyrie Irving. If we're being brutally honest, he hasn't had a good playoff run since he was in Cleveland, and that was a long time ago. On the Brooklyn Nets that year he got hurt when they played the Bucks in the second round, Kyrie himself was very good, but he got hurt, and the Nets unfortunately got bounced in the second round. It was a great series, basically the Eastern Conference Finals. If we're being honest, that Bucks Nets series, they were KD being 2 sizes smaller away from making the finals at that point, but that's not what happened. That's not what happened. They would have faced the Hawks, but if we live in the reality, Kyrie got hurt and they fell. Unfortunately. Kyrie, I believe in him. I trust Kyrie will be great this playoffs because he's been great with Luka this whole season. There's no reason why I don't think that they could go out and the Western Conference Finals, make the NBA Finals. But it's at the same time, I'm saying the same thing. It's healthy. And these boys is facing us. So I got to pick one. Somebody's going to get bounced in the first round. And it's going to be, we're going to see who I pick. But let's go back to the X's and O's, the notes I got. You got Daniel Gafford and PJ Tucker. I said PJ Tucker. PJ Washington. Who have been great additions for the Dallas Mavericks on defense. The Dallas Mavericks have, the past month, I saw they were ranked number 1 on defense, but we're not going to go entirely based off the past month because, a lot of teams were tanking. But it just goes to show you that the defense has gotten way better. Luka and Kyrie have been playing phenomenally around each other. And I knew this is going to work because Luka is a point forward, similar to LeBron James. And I feel like Kyrie and LeBron work perfectly together. So I kind of knew that Kyrie and Luka were going to fit very well next to each other. Them two as the offensive hub is absolutely amazing. Similar to James Harden and Russell Westbrook, to where you should always be playing one of them at point guard, I will say the same thing about the Dallas Mavericks. Kyrie or Luka should always be running the one for them. If it's not Kyrie, it's Luka. If it's not Luka, it's Kyrie. And after that, you put shooters and defense around them. And then you tag team Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford. I mean, those two centers, they've been able to work amazingly off of the advantages that Kyrie and Luka create for them. I seen a post that Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively are top 10 in true shooting percentage in the NBA entirely. And it's because their attempts that they get are such easy looks that are generated from Kyrie and Luka. Kyrie and Luka, they bend the defense crazy. And when they on the court together, those inverted screens where Kyrie sets a pick for Luka Doncic and he fades while Luka goes downhill and has one of those centers at the dunker spot and two guys in the corner three has worked amazingly for them, because if there's not a lob pass, if Luka doesn't have one of his easy post touches to where he makes those fadeaways, Luka's amazing shooting close by the basket. If he doesn't have a shooter open in the corner, it's because Kyrie's able to be at the top of the key for the reset. And then guess what Kyrie's gonna do? Kyrie's gonna da. Yeah, you feel me? So it's an amazing offense. The thing about the Dallas Mavericks is their defense. That's the main thing about it, because it's a scary place for them. Because who is gonna guard Kawhi Leonard and Paul George? I'm gonna tell you, Luka is gonna be asked to guard them sometimes. Luka is gonna be asked to guard the likes of Paul George, at least. To be honest, he just is. He is a 6'7" forward. He's gonna be asked to play with the guys sometimes. You got Derek Jones Jr. You got Dante Exum, PJ Washington. He's gonna be the one who gets the Kawhi Leonard matchup. Honestly, it's gonna be a tough thing for him to do, but it's also gonna be tough for the Clippers to guard them. But to be honest, it's gonna be tough for both sides. This is an amazing series. This series is amazing. Luka Doncic, like I said earlier, on why you should start Paul George at the 2 and PJ Tucker at the 4. He's going to post up smaller guards every time he gets the chance. You don't even want to give him the chance to do that, man. It punishes the defense so much. It bends the defense so much that it just hurts you as a team. I remember Patrick Beverly was getting playing time. Like he's going to eliminate some guys from the series when they're a smaller guard. You know, it's just the truth. Another thing in my notes, like I was saying before, Kyrie was hurt with the Nets. He stunk with the Celtics. He was suspended. Then he had to only play away games, and then they missed the playoffs last year. It's been a while since Kyrie's played in the playoffs and had a great series or a great run. So we're banking a lot on Kyrie doing good for the Dallas Mavericks, which if we just living in the current moment of Kyrie Irving, why do you think he could do that? You know? It's all just hope with Kyrie. But at the same time, is it hope with how this is the healthiest Kyrie has looked, the best Kyrie has looked, and the best he has fit on the roster, you know? So I think, to be honest, I'm leaning towards the Dallas Mavericks, yo. I was trying to act like I have doubt in them, but honestly, in the first round, this has been my easiest pick so far. I confidently got the Dallas Mavericks winning this series. It's going to go 6 or 7 games. I think when the series goes 7 games, I like going with the best player more than that. But also, I see a world where this could end before 7. I think Kawhi Leonard being healthy is the biggest implication on how this series will be dictated, for sure. Kawhi Leonard, I just don't trust him with his health. I mean, in the playoffs, like I said, he's one of the best playoff risers I've ever seen in my life. But only so much he could do. But the Dallas Mavericks, I can't just easily say they're going to win at the same time, because they're going to need Dante Exum, Tim Hardaway, Josh Green, PJ Washington, Derek Jones Jr., Maxi Kleber. Those 6 guys. Out of them 6, you're going to need at least 3 of them who are going to knock down shots consistently. And the reason why I say 3 of them is because you can lock in Kyrie, you can lock in Luka, you can lock in both centers. Those 4 guys are core pieces in the rotation, no matter what. The thing that changes everything is the shooting around them. Those guys need spacing. Kyrie and Luka are amazing shooters. So if you have 2 more guys that could space out the court consistently, It will bend the defense like crazy for the Clippers. And it will be very, very, very hard for them to guard one of the most unstoppable offensive of all time. But like I said, they're going to need mid to okay shooters to knock down these shots because the Clippers are going to leave some of these guys open. If you see Luka going downhill, Daniel Gafford or Lively available for a dunk, and Kyrie Irving at the reset at the top of the key, if you leave anyone open, it's going to be those 6 guys in the corner. It's just the smart thing to do. It's the right thing to do. But what Mavericks are going to need is them boys to knock down their shots. And out of those 6, the reason why I got the Mavericks winning this series is I think at least 3 of them will be able to knock down their shots at the end of the games. I don't know who it's going to be. In a perfect scenario, it will be like PJ Washington so he can stay on the court to guard Kawhi. I think that's the first guy that the Clippers should leave open. If PJ Washington isn't knocking down his shots, you have the best defender against Kawhi Leonard not being able to touch the court. So the first guy I personally would leave open is PJ Washington. But if he's knocking down his shots, then after that you leave. If he's knocking down his shots, then after that you leave Derrick Jones open. But if he's knocking down his shots, the Mavericks a problem now, because they're going to be able to have Kyrie, Luka, Derrick, PJ, Gafford, and Lively at all times. But like I said, you guys need to knock down their shots. Dante Exum, he's been shooting amazing percentage-wise, so he's shooting like less than 2 threes a game. He's not shooting a lot of volume. These guys are going to need to knock down their shots consistently. And like I said, with the spot minutes for Jaden Hardy. If Kyrie was to go down, you need somebody else who's at least amped up, warmed up in the playoffs to be able to play for Kyrie for those like 1 to 2 games, Because Kyrie Irving, he's always a viable option to get hurt. He always will be, unfortunate, especially if he's getting older. And when I say spot minutes, like I said earlier, spot minutes means like 5 minutes max. If he's not doing anything, if he's cooking in those 5 minutes and you want to keep rolling with him, go ahead. I wouldn't suggest it. It's the playoffs. Just put Kyrie back in. But at the same time, if he's rolling in those 5 minutes, hey, you could look at who can we give less minutes because this guy Hardy is playing amazing and he deserves it. In the playoffs, you give your good minutes, give your good players chances. If they don't capitalize on the chance, they'll be okay with it. Give them a chance. PJ Washington at the 3 for defense has been something that the Dallas Mavericks have went through a good amount so far. They will run Kyrie, Luka, PJ, Weaver, Gafford, or Lively. It's another way that they can get more defense into that lineup. But like I said, they're going to need guys knocking down their shots to have that as an option. And if the Dallas Mavericks can knock down their shots, I trust their defense enough. They are a team defense. I know they don't have the names on defense, but they got the team defense. They got Jason Kidd, who on that side of the ball, he's one of those coaches who he's gonna make you play your heart out on defense. I know Jason Kidd, he ain't the best coach, but he's a solid enough coach where his team defensive schemes is decent enough. He got Luka, who's trying his hardest ever on defense. He looks like he want to win him a ring. I love how Kyrie and Luka mix match because Kyrie, he's so fast paced and Luka's he's slower, like methodical type. But Luka has ramped it up a bit so Kyrie could be at his best. So, hey, this is going to be a great one. The video is longer than I expected. Dallas Mavericks versus the Los Angeles Clippers. This is going to be a classic, y'all. I could very easily be wrong about the Mavericks winning because I got them in 7-6. So, it's not like it's an easy pick. But at the same time, So, yeah. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm doing this for every single first round matchup. Gonna do it for the next round after that. And after that, it's just gonna be easier. So, like I said, thank you guys for watching. If you want to hear more from us, we're going live right after I drop this video. If you're watching right now, chances are our first round playoff predictions already dropped. So tune into that. Up the score show. And yeah, have a nice day. God bless everyone for watching. And thank you.